6th in the FBS, but Colorado State is top 20 defensively as Rippon goes for the home run ball in the end zone. Richardson!
Welcome back, college football fans, to another Top 25 breakdown. And today we're doing Boise State.
Boise State, number 23?
Yeah, number 23, Boise State.
23.
Just a quick little thing that we will be doing 3 this week. We'll be dropping Boise State and then Utah State and then Northwestern. Obviously today, up to Tuesday, we're going to be, which is Boise State. Next on Thursday, we're going to be dropping Utah State. And on Saturday is going to come Northwestern. Yep. So yeah, there'll be 3 this week. Next week we'll probably do 2. And then it's because we want to get a little quicker on
pick up the pace. Yeah, the season's coming pretty fast.
So we don't want to get ahead of it. But yeah, okay, let's talk about Boise State real quick. So obviously last season they did really well. A lot of people thought that they kind of underachieved just because they went 10-3.
10-3.
Right. So yep, I mean, but I think that's a pretty good year. But I guess as a Boise State fan, you expect that and you expect more. Every year. So it's like.
You also expect to get especially with Boise State winning at least, they've won 3 Fiesta Bowls. I'm pretty sure. You expect to get back to Fiesta Bowl.
I think I think that's like the goal every year is like to a New Year's Six Bowl. Regardless of like who they have to play. And I mean last year they did play some tough opponents. I think the very toughest one, they got smoked by Oklahoma State.
Yeah, it
wasn't even close. I think during the season, me and Christian do like these little we pick the winners of games of like the big games, like the college football. What is it?
I guess college game day.
College game day picks or whatever. And I remember you picked Boise State for that.
I picked Boise State for that. I did. I was real confident. I still feel confident in Boise State because I know how good they are. But they went into that game at Oklahoma State, so in the Blackwater. Yeah. And they got slapped.
Yeah, they did.
So it was not fun to watch.
But yeah, obviously Oklahoma State was a very tough team. Last year they were really good offensively, so it was hard to contain that. But they had really good wins against, obviously, I would say, San Diego State was a pretty good win. Oh no, they lost to San Diego State. Never mind.
They did. Yeah. So BYU was a good win, and then Fresno State in season win was a good win.
Yes.
And then they go on to beat Utah State, another great team.
Yes.
And then they lose to Fresno State in the conference championship game.
But it was in overtime.
Regardless, it was a great game, but tough loss.
And then they couldn't play their bowl game just because it got canceled.
Probably, I want to say it's about
Was it like the
hurricane?
Yeah, I think it was the hurricane stuff around there. Yeah. But yeah, they did really well. Obviously, I think that a 10-3 season is really good for
any program.
Yeah, any program really. But I mean, obviously, as a fan base, you kind of expect that and more. Like I think most fans do, but
especially if you're Boise State.
Yeah, so I think for one of the concerns that I saw for the 2019 season. Was they lose their quarterback.
They lose Brett Rypien. I hope I'm saying that right.
Rypien,
whatever it is, and they lose their starting running back. They lose the starting running back.
So they lose production on offense, just in the backfield, really.
No, not only that, they lose their 2 most targeted receivers from last year.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, you're right.
But I mean, that's not so much of a concern because they're so deep. They're so deep in the receiver position that's going to get filled up really quickly.
Yeah.
So I think that's not a problem. The only problem I see right now is that they need to find another quarterback that's going to be just as good as Brett, because Brett was a 4-year starter. So
yeah, he was. Obviously, it's hard to replace somebody like that, especially when they've had 4 years of experience and stuff like that. But I think they'll find a way to at least continue the success on offense and especially with the young guys and especially the experience that they have coming back from next year. So obviously we mentioned quarterback and running back, but let's say to the returning starters, I think one of them that I saw that was a pretty big name was Khalil Shakir.
I haven't seen him.
He was one of the freshmen last year. He broke out last year. He had some good touches. He had a couple touchdowns here and there. I think it was he was used all over the offense. He was used for a couple of running back positions,
slot receiver type stuff.
Slot receiver stuff.
Short guy?
Yeah, he's really quick, really fast. Obviously, he's one of those guys that could give you a home run. He's a home run threat, so obviously he's one of those guys to keep watching.
So he's probably a special teams threat too.
Oh, I didn't see him play special teams. I think I saw him mainly play on offense. Okay. But I don't know, he might be used. But I think he's going to be one of the bigger targets. I think just because I think he was a 4-star or 5-star receiver I can't.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember, but I think it was something like that.
I shouldn't even be surprised. It's Boise State recruiting. I think. I mean, guys go there because they want to win, and then if you go to Boise State, you're gonna win. You're gonna win a lot of games. You're gonna have a couple rings on you. So it's fine.
I think the venue of like where they play. I think having the blue turf is very unique to like the college football.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
College football world. So it's like one of those things that you get to play on a blue turf. And then the unis are pretty nice.
The unis are. I was about to say, the unis are always nice. I want to say they're almost, not better, almost to the caliber of Oregon unis. I mean, you college football fans know.
Yeah, I think the mix, like the combinations that they could do with all the unis are really nice because they have the grays, the blues, the oranges,
like
the whites.
The whites, all whites.
Yeah, the all whites nice. It's
icy.
so killer.
Yep.
Like the helmets are always nice.
I'm looking at this picture right now. This uniform's amazing. It's
Yeah.
the blue top, white jersey, and orange pants. It's amazing. It's a great combination.
Yeah.
Either way, it's gonna work.
Blue and orange look nice. Blue and orange and white all look nice. But obviously, so we talked a little bit about Khalil Shakir. But I also saw that John Hightower, he's also a big play threat. And also another key returner is the key returner is the all 5 linemen return on offense.
Yeah,
That's huge.
And they started meshing in the middle of the year. So in the middle of the season, this when like they really got into the nitty gritty with each other.
Yeah, that's basically when they started like getting on the same page with everybody. And yeah, I think
that's this team is going to be good.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty good next year.
There's not a lot of concerns, I would say. I think there's some concerns on the defensive side of the ball. If we're
I think
the slightest of concerns.
I mean, a little bit, yeah. I mean, so like, what do you think the strengths are, real quick?
Oh my bad. So the strength is definitely in the depth of receiver, and especially and then just the experience and just being that vet, or I guess I don't know how to call it. Just being being experienced in the secondary. The secondary is really good.
Yeah. Okay, I will agree with. Yeah. So yeah, obviously we talked. Okay, so like the defense veterans. Yeah, they have some like good veterans coming back. I think it was 9 of. Yeah, I think I have it right here.
9 of starting 11.
Yeah, 9 of the 11 are coming back. 9 of them had obviously 9 starts during the season. Last year they were hit with some injuries, so obviously that had some effect to it.
Yeah.
They had some young guys go into some big roles. But also obviously strengths are obviously offensive line. That's huge, especially with a young quarterback, which is going to be either a quarterback that has little experience or very zero experience. Because I think they have a early enrollee quarterback.
I think they do. I think he's an early enrollee. I'm not too certain about that. I know they have the sophomore Chase Cord, who was the backup last year.
Yeah,
he was the backup last year, but he tore his ACL in the middle of the year. But he's coming back. He lost a lot of springtime action, but they also got a 3-star transfer from UTSA, senior Jalen Henderson. I think they still have that depth at quarterback, and they still have that guy who's going to be experienced. So they're going to have that senior transfer guy. He'll be fine. I would say. I would hope so, considering he's already spent a couple years in college football. But they also have sophomore Chase Cord, who was the assigned backup. He's most likely going to be pulled up to a starter, if not Jalen Henderson.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think. Yeah, you mentioned Chase Cord, yeah, which is a good one. Oh yeah, true freshman. It was Hank.
Backmeyer.
Yeah, Backmeyer. He enrolled early.
Yeah.
And is one of the most highly touted recruits ever to sign with Boise State. So.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see whoever takes the snaps on the first game.
I think there's gonna be all issues, like all concerns, we rest assured. Like
yeah, I think especially with an offensive line, like a veteran offensive line, that helps the obviously the quarterback, especially the quarterback, to obviously protect him, give him a little more time to sit in the pocket, and also it helps the running backs, because I think the running back position is going to be run by a duo. It's going to be like by committee.
By committee, yeah, definitely by committee. Because I did reference that they're deep in running back, they're deep on the receiver side. They got it all. I mean, this is a team that doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. I'm like sorry, like I just don't have anything to say about it. I think
also it also helps that their schedule isn't as tough as
it's not as tough as last year's, as you would assume. Considering they played Fresno State, lost to Fresno State, played Oklahoma State. I mean, they're gonna play some high caliber teams, and I just think they have. I think I've read that they're favored in every one of their games.
Yeah, favored in every one of their games. I think their 2 toughest games that they're at, I think 50% that could go either way is the Florida State game and the Utah State game.
Yeah, just because Utah State is still that team with Jordan Love last year. They're gonna get challenged, but Utah State's not the same as Boise State in the sense of recruiting. So they lost some guys to graduation and some guys to go to the league. But they don't have that depth like Boise State does. So I don't know if that's going to be a really close game this coming season. But, we'll just got to wait and see.
Yeah, that is true. Obviously, and also we mentioned a little bit about the skill positions. They're young, they're exciting. They're going to have really good offensive production this year. So I guess we'll just wait and see on that. So, like, on weaknesses, you mentioned a little bit of the defense. What did you think about that?
I think the linebacker position, just because I'm only saying that because I've read that that's probably one of their least deep.
Yeah, they lack depth. So, like, a couple injuries, and they're going to be very young at that linebacker
and
position.
then they'll lose that experience and be like, well, they're kind of shit out of luck. You gotta hope for the best.
Yeah, so I agree with that. I think that linebacker position is pretty key. Obviously, the linebackers on a defense are like the quarterback of an offense. So obviously, that's going to be a very big position. Like, if they get injuries there, it's going to be a very young linebackers there, so it's going to affect them. But I also will say one thing that they are doing is shifting to a 3-4 defense, which is a pretty good defense, especially for what is it, like when you're very short on defensive linemen. I think that's one of the things. I think they're another weakness is like their D line isn't as they don't have as much depth there. So I guess we'll see how they'll deal with that new system in there. But I also think that it doesn't help that their defensive coordinator left to go to Oregon. So obviously that brings in 3 new defensive personnel. That's a whole new defense to learn. That could have some issues this year. It's on the first year, so we'll see how that works.
That to me right there is probably the biggest weakness that Boise State has. Is that they're gonna because they have a new DC, they're gonna have to. Their guys are gonna have to learn a new defense and get with it and get it right real quick. So it's just I think that's the biggest weakness.
Yeah, I also think that especially special teams. I think if you look at the Oklahoma State game, they got blocked. I think it was 2 or 3 times on punts, just punts alone. Obviously, that affects how the game was. Obviously, if they don't have those 2 or 3 punt blocked against Oklahoma State, the score is probably a lot closer than people think. So obviously that kind of affects the game as well.
Changes a lot of momentum too. That's definitely like a demoralizing kind of a thing because you got to take care of the punter and all that. So
in general, you got to take care of the football. You can't just turn the ball over.
You can't let that happen.
I think turnovers are gonna kill any team. It doesn't matter how good the team is. It could be Alabama. If they turn the ball over 5 times, they're gonna probably lose. But it's depending on who they play.
You should lose. You should be losing that game if you turn the ball over 5 times.
So when we look at the 2019 schedule, it looks pretty good for Boise State.
It looks really good.
I think obviously they started hard, tough with Florida State. It's a neutral site game. I mean, some people will say it's not neutral site. But it's a neutral site for the most part. Boise State crowd will travel with them. Obviously, they're really good on traveling.
Very dedicated fans,
I think that it'll be half and half. It might be actually 60-40. I don't know how much the Florida State fans are going to be there. After 2-3 bad years already.
You're reaching, I think. I still think it's gonna be heavy Florida State fans because everybody's really feeling the resurgence of Florida State.
I don't buy into the Florida State just yet. I think
I don't either. I'm with you. I don't. They gotta prove a lot to everybody in the college football community.
That's very true.
Although it is in Jacksonville, it is listed a neutral site game. It's in Florida still. I'm thinking 70-30 crowd, 30 being the Boise State crowd. This is a win for Boise State.
Dude, I'm going Boise State wins it big.
This is a win for Boise State.
I think they hang at least 21 or 28 points on them. Scores might be, like, some people might say that it's going to be a lot closer, but I think it's going to be, I think once Boise State figures out what they can do, that defense is not going to be able to stop them, especially with that young guys.
With all the young guys, yeah. I can't think but only that Boise State's gonna beat Florida State in this game. And it's gonna be a high-scoring game. I think Florida State may have some issues in the offensive department more than the quarterback position, but I just think this is a win. Boise State has this in the bag.
I think Florida State has way too many issues right now going on, so I think there's too much concerns on Florida State. I think right now Boise State's better matched up against them, and I think Boise State's it'll be considered an upset, but I don't think it's gonna be an upset. I think they'll just have a win over Florida State, and then obviously they'll go through obviously have Marshall, Portland State, Air Force, and then a bye. So obviously they only go away for one game, and then they have basically a whole month in Idaho, in Boise.
Yeah.
So they don't have to. It's very easy early. And then they have to go to UNLV. Hawaii, I think, could be an issue. Hawaii is getting better. I think they will be one of the better teams in the Mountain West next year. So we will see that.
With their quarterback, I'm hoping I'm getting this right. Cole McDonald,
Yeah.
The quarterback. He's phenomenal. He's great. He's a great quarterback. I love watching him play last year. I think that's going to be a good match.
Yeah,
good matchup.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then they have at BYU and then a bye, and then they have at San Jose State, Wyoming, New Mexico, at Utah State, which could be the only hiccup in their actual schedule, and then at Colorado State, and then most likely will go to the conference championship.
Yep.
So what do you think the worst case scenario is for?
Worst case scenario is 10-2 regular season.
Okay.
10-2 regular season. I think with that record they're still going to the Mountain West championship. I think they're losing if it's a 10-2 worst scenarios. They're gonna lose the Florida State game, and I think they're gonna lose at BYU. But they're gonna win everything in conference.
Okay.
And so they'll get the invitation, or they'll go to the conference championship game.
I would agree with that. I don't think that any worst case scenario that you would make up for Boise, like looking at their schedule, is not going to get lower than 10 wins.
Yeah, it's just not.
I have them at 11-1. I think that the only hiccup would probably be Utah State, just because I think Utah State's on a trajectory up. So I think that'll be the only thing. But I also don't buy into the Florida State. I don't think they're going to be any better this year than they were last year.
Yeah.
If they are better this year, it's probably going to be a 5-7 season or a 6-6 season again, or whatever they got last year.
Yep.
So what do you think the most likely scenario will be?
Most likely it's a 11-1 season.
11-1?
Most likely is 11-1 season.
Okay.
I think they do drop one just because they might get ahead of themselves, taking ahead of some games. So I do think they might drop that Hawaii game. I do think they might drop that at BYU game. I just don't see them dropping that Florida State game. It's just because you've already hit all the points. They have too many issues. I just think Boise State's ready to go off the jump. Or it could be the at Utah State game. I just think they're going to be looking ahead to bigger, better things, and they're just going to get ahead of themselves.
Yeah.
They might drop one.
I have the most likely scenario. I think they go undefeated. I think they go 13-0, and then they get invited to a New Year's Six Bowl. I think that's looking at their schedule and then matching them up. I think that, and also being favored in every game. I also think that has some issue that has something to do with it. So I think that they will go undefeated, 13-0, and then they will go to a New Year's Six Bowl, and they'll be matched up against an SEC school most likely. Or if it actually works out this way, maybe we'll see a UCF versus a Boise State.
Cool. That would be a good game.
That would be a pretty good game, especially if both of them go undefeated.
Or a Notre Dame if they don't get invited to if Notre Dame doesn't get a spot in the playoff. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It might be a New Year's Six invitation with Notre Dame and maybe the Fiesta Bowl or something like that.
Yeah.
Fiesta Bowls are stuck in my head because I just know how Boise State's really good when they come.
It seems like they always get invited to the Fiesta Bowl. Yeah. But so moving to the best case scenario, I have them. I'm gonna stick to it. 13-0, 14-0. If they obviously.
With a bowl win
win in the New Year's Six Bowl, I think they'll get some SEC team or something like that, or I think they'll be able to upset a SEC team, just like how they did against Oklahoma a while back ago. So I think that this team is very dangerous, especially if you underestimate them. They could hurt you. So
yeah, absolutely. I think my best case scenario is definitely I'm gonna say 13-1. I still think they drop one in the regular season. They'll drop one. That's fine. They'll get over it. Win the conference, get to the bowl, and win that.
Yeah.
13-1, 14-0. Either way, this is a team. It's like you said, it's too dangerous. It's too good. Their schedule's too soft for them that they won't be upended. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they won't be overwhelmed with the opponents that they play.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things that when we look at. But obviously.
Now I got a quick question for you though. A 14-0, 13-1 Boise State, is that a top 10 team?
No, that's not going to be a top 10 team.
Especially
what they did. It might be, considering it's Boise State and it's not UCF.
You would say it has that history that they got those wins. They have trophies.
I think it's the fact that Boise State has been consistent over the last decade. So obviously when you put that whole last decade, and also the fact that they are consistently getting those 10 or 9 win seasons every year, and also upsetting some teams every year, and they can compete with bigger conferences I think that's when you start talking about like I think they deserve like probably a top 10 team.
Top 10 kind of accolade there.
I think they'll probably get a little higher than what UCF was. I think what was it 8? I think they'll probably get maybe a 7. But I don't think they'll be able to push up to that that level where they're gonna get a spot for the college football playoff. Okay. But I mean I would like to see that. I think that's having a Boise State in that mix. But I also don't think that having them go up against either a Clemson or Alabama in like in the semifinal.
Yeah.
Because they'll probably be like if they go undefeated, there's a good chance that they'll probably get the 4th seed.
They could honestly.
Depending
on how everything shakes out. You know,
yeah.
you still got your LSU's, your Georgias.
If there's like all mayhem and then Boise State just gets like undefeated. And it goes, Boise State goes undefeated, and then so like they'll get the 4th seed, and then whoever like it'll probably be Clemson or Alabama at the 1. If they get matched up, it's gonna be ugly and it's gonna be a blowout.
It's gonna be ugly, but it will set a precedent for the group of five conferences.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it's like it'll be the first group of 5 team to ever get there into the playoff, and it'll be almost like a path on what you have to do to get there.
Yeah, and like I mean, aside from UCF, there's no other group of 5 team more deserving than that invitation to the playoff. For me, it's between Boise State or UCF because they keep winning. If you keep doing what you're doing, keep winning. Schedule hard teams like Boise State's doing, Florida State.
Some would say like obviously Florida State's like on a decline still, so. Yeah. But I think that even if they are in a decline, they're still recruiting at a high level. Like Florida State's still getting recruits. They're still getting guys that are fast, that were 4 stars.
4-star, 5 stars. Yep.
But I mean, Boise State's recruiting at that same level too. So let's not forget that.
Yep.
So obviously, we just finished number 23 Boise State.
23.
Next week, not next week, actually, in a couple days, we will drop the Utah State, another Mountain West team that we will look at, especially because they both go against each other
head to head. So
I guess we'll see who really has the best looking schedule, best looking team, and then we'll change maybe a little bit.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll really see what happens. But then obviously, later this week, honestly, on Saturday, we will drop the Northwestern, a Big Ten team that we'll get to look at again, especially when they have to go up against Iowa, which we did. Go check that out. We did Iowa, number 25. Yep. But anyways, thanks guys. Have a good one.